I'm Claire Birmingham and I want your flute students to sound awesome. Today's video is a companion tutorial to my harmonics houses exercise. If you didn't get a copy of it, it is available at the link below and it's a free download. You are more than welcome to share it with your students. I designed it to be handed out to them, and this video is going to help you know how to teach it. So I'm going to start by playing through it and then we'll talk about it. I'll start on G. E. D. All right, so this exercise is a simplified version of something that I do every day on the flute. Harmonics are a really fundamental part of flute playing and embouchure development. But before we start, I want to issue one disclaimer. I always tell my students, embouchure is really the last step in flute playing. There's so many other things that happen outside of that contribute to having a great sound. First of all, having a really free from tension, relaxed sensation in your body. Body mapping in music could tell you a lot more about it, but what I always tell my students is it's sort of like how you feel when you get off a trampoline. You feel light and buoyant, in balance, effortlessly. We sometimes do 10 jumping jacks in my flute studio just to remember what that feels like. So there's being free from tension in the body, which will affect our breathing in a positive way. And then being really free from tension inside the mouth and in the jaw, because I am going to be talking about moving the jaw to different places, but wherever it is, forward, back, or what, it's always loose. It's never tight. So I tell my students, think of the beginning of a yawn, not the full extension. That's too much, and I don't want to introduce that strain, but the very beginning of a yawn, when you'll feel it sort of unlock and just hang loose, that's a great spot for flute playing. The tongue is resting in the bed of your mouth. The tongue will have other jobs later, but for this exercise, I'm not using it. It's just resting in the bottom, and this is all done on puffs of air. So with that caveat, let's go to the exercise. I always tell my students at every level that the flute makes low and high sounds, and I liken them to the levels of a house. So in the exercise, we're going to play the basement, the first floor, the second floor, the attic, and then come on down. So the first one is starting on a G, and for a basement note on the flute, I'm going to be a little further back with the jaw, always loose though, not tight, a little further back, like if you were to open your mouth but leave your lips touching. Your jaw kind of comes back a little naturally as it opens. Well, I'm going to go a little further back for the basement note. Maybe a little spread out. And then just breathe. Nice warm air, not tight, really soft lips. And there's our basement G. So as we climb the G harmonics house, I'm going to first start by just blowing slightly faster air, and we'll incorporate embouchure adjustments as the notes fight with you and don't come out. But for now, nice and loose, really warm air. Let's climb to the first floor. If your students struggle to make that jump, and if they're getting stuck on the bottom, or getting a multiphonic, I would say most likely they need more space. I ask them to think about reaching forward with the top lip, thinking of a taller or a longer lip opening because it is looking downward. So let's go from basement to first floor. The jaw is still pretty far back, but faster air, maybe reaching out a little with the top lip if needed. Let's go for the second floor. And let's go for the attic. That one didn't come out, so we need more adjustments. So I'm going to come a little bit forward with the jaw, and I'm going to engage the corners of my mouth. Notice I'm not going to squeeze everywhere. I'm not going to squeeze down from the center, but I'm going to engage the corners of my mouth and these spots on my chin underneath the corners of my mouth. I actually have dimples there that I was not born with, because that's muscle. Those are my flute gains, and so I'm very proud of them. As you work on this exercise, you should get ripped for flute playing, which is pretty cool, and it enables a lot of really cool things to happen with your sound. So I'm going to engage a little bit there. I'm a little bit forward, maybe reaching out, faster air. Cool. So I climbed all the way up. Now, as I climb back down, I'm going to make sure to do the same motions in reverse so that when I get back to the bottom, I will have come all the way back to where I started. And you might not get it the first time. Remember, I'm really strong and I do that every day, so it's pretty easy for me. If your highest level, if your attics or your levels above the attic, if you're trying to add levels onto the house and they're not coming out yet, don't be discouraged. Just simply working on it will be enough to begin to develop the muscles that you need, and just keep coming back to it. Give it a couple minutes a day, and that's what I encourage all of my students to do. So that was a pretty fast forward, superficial take on something that is very fundamental to flute playing. If you have questions, let me know in the comments, or reach out and get in touch. I would love to hear from you.